It doesn't matter if you look Jewish, if you denounce your Judaism like Jonathan Glazer tried to do at the Oscars. If you are Jewish, you are Jewish. And if the Holocaust were to happen again, you would be sent to the concentration camps. So I truly went to UCLA to see if I could have a conversation with these people. No one would talk to me. They all had like the same basic message. You have to speak to our media liaison. Sorry, you have to speak to our media liaison. Like I was looking at them in their eyes and they're staring at me with the masks and surrounding me. And I don't know, I can't describe it, but I couldn't believe that this is like 2024 and this is what is happening.
Shalom and welcome to State of a Nation. I'm Levy. There's little doubt that Israel is losing the global battle for the hearts and minds of Gen Z. From US campuses to the streets of London and Amsterdam, young people in the West always have a radical student revolutionary phase, but now it's taking the form of siding with the death squads of Hamas. And if this isn't just some passing radical phase cosplaying revolutionaries, then the West is in big trouble. With increasing numbers chanting for the destruction of Israel, because that's what from the river to the sea means. The need for advocates of Israel to tell the real story has never been more critical, to show the journey of strength and resilience in a country facing an enemy that seeks only death and destruction. To highlight the amazing work and battles being fought by our own young people, not Gen Z, Gen Zionists, who are waking up and fighting back. My guest today is Montana Tucker, influencer, singer, songwriter, actress, and dancer, who is using her incredible reach to 14 million followers to speak up for her people. The granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, fierce advocate for Israel, especially since October 7th. Having visited Israel to bear witness in the wake of the massacre, Montana returned to this country in a show of solidarity with the nation she loves so much, wowing participants at a hostages rally in Tel Aviv with her rendition of the national anthem, Hatikva. So why is Montana sticking her neck out for her people when it is so much easier not to take center stage and simply hide in the wings? And what can we do to stop Gen Zers around the world falling down the Hamas rabbit hole? Welcome to State of a Nation.
Breaking news out of Israel this morning.
Shocking hostage taking.
Hundreds of Canadians are dead.
I want to bring in Israeli government spokesman.
What happens when the 4-day pause?
How do you resolve this?
Where does this go?
Montana Tucker, welcome to State of a Nation.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you were able to squeeze us in your busy timetable here in Israel. Saw you on Saturday night at the hostages rally. You stood there on the stage singing Hatikva together with 2 survivors of Hamas captivity. 3 survivors, sorry, including Yocheved Lifshitz, one of the elderly survivors released at the beginning. At least from me standing on the side of the stage, it was a very powerful moment. What was it like for you holding the microphone?
So there were so many powerful moments of that night. I said this before, but I have sang the Hatikva many times in my life, all over the world, but I've never sang it in Israel. So to sing it in Israel, the homeland, I knew it was going to be emotional. I knew it was going to be powerful. And I had the honor of meeting all the 3 women that I was holding hands with beforehand. Moran, I actually met in New York. We did an event together and we became friends and kept in contact. And the other 2 I met during this trip here. And so many people keep coming up to me and they keep thanking me for what I'm doing. But these women are the true heroes, and they gave me so much inspiration and motivation. So to be able to stand on stage with them and hold their hand, it was just inspiring and motivating, and it gave me the strength to sing and to keep going. So it was amazing.
Amazing. And it wasn't just a one-off event, because you're in Israel to film content, which you are then going to share on your incredible social media platforms. What is it? More than 12 million followers?
Like across platforms, I think it's around 14. Really.
Around 14. I'm going to bother my own social media following. I squint and add a couple of zeros. But what have you been doing in Israel this week?
So I came to Israel in December, so very shortly after everything. And that trip was very heavy and very sad and emotional. And it needed to be that. I think the whole world,
So soon after the massacre.
It was so, and there was so much denial. Obviously, there's still denial. But before I before October 7th, about a year and a half ago, I made a Holocaust educational series. And with all the Holocaust denial, I wanted to physically go. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors, and I went to Auschwitz, where my grandmother is a survivor of, and saw her entire family get killed. And so I said to my followers, you guys can deny all you want, but I'm physically here. This is where it happened. And that series really opened a lot of people's minds. And that's why I wanted to come to Israel back in December, to physically go to Faraza, to physically meet with survivors, meet with hostages that were released. So no, there's no denying. And that made an impact. Now, this trip, I wanted to do slightly differently. Israel is my favorite place in the world. And I really wanted to show the world why it is my favorite place in the world. And there's so much negativity around Israel right now, and so many conspiracy theories and all the propaganda that you see about it. You know, people, especially with me posting about it, say it's only white Jews that live in Israel and white supremacists and etc. So I wanted to show them that so many different religions and races and cultures live and coexist here in peace. And it's not what everyone thinks it is. And the IDF is not what everyone thinks it is. And there's so many things that are so twisted. And so I wanted to show the truth of what Israel is.
Are you having any headway in that message about Israel's diversity?
The content that I filmed, I truly cannot wait for everyone to see. I think it's something that I've personally never done, and stuff that I've never seen really come out of Israel. Maybe it has, but at least I haven't seen it. And so I think it's going to really change minds. You know, I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm an actress. That's how I grew my social, following. And I've been having to separate my, I call them my worlds. I've had my singing and my dancing and my acting over here, and then my activism and combating anti-Semitism and Israel side here. So I wanted to find a way to combine them. So I actually did a lot of dance content, which I know sounds crazy to do in this time, but it's really inspiring. I did a video at the Nova site with Nova survivors.
Wow.
A dance video with them. And that was just an amazing, amazing moment. I did a video yesterday at the Tower of David with all different religions dancing together to show the unity in Israel. I got to do a dance video with a whole Ethiopian culture dance studio where they showed me Ethiopian original moves. I went to a Druze village. They're the most incredible people, by the way. I just learned about the Druze religion this trip, and they taught me a dance, and we danced to an Arabic song, and it was just incredible. So I can't wait for the world to see this side of Israel.
I imagine for you, one of the main slogans after the October 7th massacre, alongside Never Again, is now, we will dance again. Exactly. Because so much of the massacre took place at the site of a music festival. I imagine especially resonant for you, and then to be able to return to the site of the Nova massacre.
100%. I think when I heard about the We Will Dance Again and from Mia Shem, I actually when I came in December, I wear this necklace. You've just taken yours off because it was rattling on the microphone. The Nova necklace that says on it, we will dance again. So it was important for me to meet Mia, and I actually got to meet her last time I was in Israel. And then her and I have become friends. I saw her when she was in Miami. And I mean, it's interesting that became such a big message of not slogan, what would you call it? The catchphrase. And so it's not we will dance again, we can dance again. So my video, at the end of my Nova video, it says we can dance again.
And we are dancing
again. And we are dancing again.
Let me ask you a politically incorrect question. Rather, let me pose a politically incorrect question I'm sure you've heard. You don't look Jewish. Now, what is it? Okay, what does it mean to look Jewish? Jews come in all shapes and sizes and colors, and part of what you want to showcase here is how diverse Israel is. But what I mean is, there are people who are visibly Jewish, especially religious ones, who will get a lot of abuse. And then there are the Jews who have the option, I hate this phrase, white passing, right? But they have the option to keep their heads down and hope that people won't associate them with being Jewish, with being Israel, and just enjoy the calm, easy life of the American dream and blending into their societies and not sticking their necks out and fighting for Israel and the Jewish people. And to me, it looks like you had that out and you chose not to take it.
Oh, the complete opposite. I think it drives me crazy, actually, especially during this time, when either Jews are not supporting Israel. For me, I genuinely can't understand that concept, because my grandparents are Holocaust survivors from Hungary and Romania, so they're not from Israel. But they always said that they believe the Holocaust wouldn't have happened if Israel was around. And I truly believe that as well. And that's why I think every Jew around the world should be protecting Israel at all costs and standing up for Israel, because it doesn't matter if you look Jewish, if you denounce your Judaism like Jonathan Glazer tried to do at the Oscars. If you are Jewish, you are Jewish, and if the Holocaust were to happen again, you would be sent to the concentration camps or killed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what percentage Jewish you are, or how you look, or how rich you are, or how famous you are. Because back then, it didn't matter. If you were Jewish, you had no power. So Jews now have a voice. Back then, they didn't. Jews have a voice now. We have power now. We are very capable of making a change and of standing up for ourselves and not letting the never again phrase for that to really never again, never forget. So I feel like I've become even louder since the 7th instead of so many others. And even people in the entertainment industry that are on such a different level than me in their careers will come up to me and be like, thank you so much for what you're doing. Like, you're taking one for the team.
Even the ones who aren't speaking up publicly.
The ones that aren't speaking up publicly. Right. Yeah. Because, and I'm like, well, why aren't you doing anything? Like, well, you know, I posted a little bit in the beginning, but I got so much hate. Like, I can't risk my whole career. I can't, like, you know, I lost so many followers, you know. It's like, that's
Is it
so
as simple
crazy.
as that Jews in entertainment fear career suicide if they speak up against anti-Semitism
Yes.
and anti-Israel movement?
Yes. And that's just, it's ridiculous to me because it's, I understand, listen, I understand, like, if your whole life on, like, you have a family, you have whatever, but how is that fair? How is that okay that Jews are not allowed to speak up, but any other cause that has been out there, Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, LGBTQ, which I've always marched with, I've always posted about, I've always stood up for, why is no one with us?
Would you say you were one of the people who on October 7th suddenly felt like you got a slap in the face because all the movements you had been an ally of turned their backs on you on October 7th?
It just made no sense to me. It still makes no sense to me that people don't associate Jews or Israel as like a minority, even though we fully are, right? Nobody thinks of Jews as a minority for some reason,
Right.
even though we're
Only
the smallest,
15 million Jews in the world, but they
smallest
think there must be
percentage.
more of us.
Exactly. So I feel like all these people that are on the other side, or however you want to phrase it, think that they're fighting for the underdog or they're fighting for the minority, when it's like, that's just not the case.
Because the Jews are still ultimately a global minority.
And I truly believe if all the minorities came together, the world would be so much more powerful and it's such a better place. And the people who are against us are also against them, you know? And it's to me, it's like also what's going on the campuses and everything. People, I think America is kind of waking up now, of realizing this is not just an anti-Israel problem, this is an anti-America problem.
So let's take a look, actually. You've been trying to engage with some of the student protesters on campus in the, I call it the tentifada, taking place on campuses. And a rather emotional clip here where you try to engage them in conversation and they stare at you like zombies. I mean, especially when they're wrapped in their keffiyehs, it looks very creepy. Let's take a look at this clip we have here.
Yeah.
Engage with agitators in this.
Just trying to understand what you're protesting. For some reason, no one from your guys' team will let you guys speak.
And I don't know why you guys can't speak to me. And like, this is so intimidating and scary for you guys to be standing here. I literally have walked around for the past 2 hours just asking peaceful questions like, what's going on here today? Why are you guys here? And no one can speak to me.
And I'll use this as an opportunity to plug the podcast on YouTube and not only on audio format, so you can see how they stand there with their keffiyehs and their COVID masks and sunglasses even covering their faces. What's the backstory there?
Oh, okay. So basically, I went to UCLA maybe a week or two prior to the encampment starting. I actually went with Rudy Rockman. I don't know if you're familiar with Rudy, but he is just incredible. And I went with him and we did interviews with different students. And my question was, if you could say something or ask something to an IDF soldier, what would you say or what would you ask? We got met with obviously a lot of people saying, I don't want to, like at first they would be really excited and then to do an interview with me. And then the second I would say that, they would either leave or not want to be part of it. But then we had some real, authentic, amazing conversations from people who might have not necessarily supported Israel or supported the IDF. And then they would ask their question and I would say, well, you know what? I actually have my friend Rudy Rockman here and he was in Gaza, etc. And it led to beautiful, powerful conversations.
Are you finding people on campus are willing to engage?
This was before the encampment started. Okay, so I went a week or two before to UCLA, the exact same place. Then once all the encampments and protests started happening like crazy, I wanted to go back because I was seeing everything on the news and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. And you're hearing the chants and it just doesn't seem real. And then you hear people saying, oh, they're getting paid to be there. They don't actually know why they're there. So I wanted to go and I wanted to see for myself. And anyone that's been following me for a long time knows that, yes, I'm really standing up for Israel and for the Jewish people, but whenever it's a cause or something that I believe about, I fully stand up for it, even if it doesn't directly have to do with me. And I, even just with my dance and music, I do videos with people of all religions, all races, all walks of life, all ages. So it's always important for me to unite people in any way that I can. So I truly went to UCLA to see if I could have a conversation with these people and to see if we can end, we can agree to disagree, but end in some kind of understanding of each other. So I didn't have any of my jewelry showing. As you see, I'm in like a hoodie and a beanie. And I walked around and I literally was just like, hi guys, like, you're really trying to make an impact. Like, what do you got? What message do you want to get out to the world? Like, that's how I was talking to them. It was actually like eating me up inside to be like so overly nice, but I really wanted to try to have a conversation. And I knew if I said anything other than that, I felt like they would push me away. No one would talk to me. They all had like the same basic message. You have to speak to our media liaison. Sorry, you have to speak to our media liaison. I've never even heard that before. Media liaison. Any other protest that I've been a part of, which I've been part of, again, many, people are always screaming and wanting their message out.
That's the whole point of demonstrating.
Exactly. So, and then they would like do graffiti. I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? Sorry, you have to speak to our media liaison. Like, they were like literally trained people to like not speak. Then they're all covered and the whole thing. So then I went to the media liaison because I'm like, I don't care to speak to them. Like, of course. I went to the media liaison. Of course, they knew who I was. And they said, we don't speak with agitators. I was an agitator the whole time. So as you see in the video, they kept saying that. And anyone I would try to talk to, don't engage with agitators. And that's how they would talk. Don't engage with agitators the whole time. And then I tried to enter the encampment and they physically wouldn't let me enter. And this is a public property that anyone is able to walk on. And they wouldn't let me go. And it was like 2 people at first. Then it became like 20 people surrounding me and not letting me go. And if I were to like physically walk in, they would have physically touched me. But obviously I'm not trying to do that and do that. So I've been extremely strong since the 7th. I have no excuse to not be strong. But it got me in a different way to stare at these people in their eyes. Like, I was looking at them in their eyes and they're staring at me with the masks and surrounding me. And I don't know, I can't describe it, but I couldn't believe that this is like what our society is right now, that it's 2024 and this is what is happening. And they're not even willing to have a conversation because they don't, again, I don't want to speak for them. It's either they don't actually know what they're doing there or they're too ignorant to even want to learn or even care about it.
But this is really disturbing because we're seeing a huge generational gulf, okay? Older Americans are still overwhelmingly pro-Israel. But among young Americans, I mean, it's getting close to 50-50 between supporters of Hamas and Israel. What is it about the youth in America that drives them to be so enchanted with a genocidal, homophobic death cult?
I blame social media. I really do. It's unfortunately trending and popular to be anti-Semitic and to be anti-Israel, anti-Zionist. It's just a fact.
And how do we fight back against? I mean, do I need to do dance videos as well? How do we?
We keep posting though, because people. I mean, even
Well,
TikTok.
there's an idea.
TikTok is my biggest platform,
Right.
and they've been the most anti-Semitic, anti-Israel. And
Have you been shadow banned on any other platforms?
Yeah, TikTok.
What happened on TikTok?
It's crazy. Like, I have 9.2 million followers on TikTok. I used to get 20 million views, 30 million views. Obviously, not every video does that, and
Not all my videos get 30 million views either.
no, but like, it just makes no sense. And videos that like on Instagram specifically will do like really well and really make an impact. On TikTok will get like 10,000 views. A video that like, I marched with Floyd Mayweather. He was a part of, I don't know if you saw, but he's been like such a great, he came to Israel actually, and he's been doing great. A video like on Instagram that did so well. And there was nothing negative about Palestine or Hamas or anything. It was just Floyd showing his support. And literally it got 10,000 views in 2 days on TikTok with 9.2 million followers.
It's insane. And I know that the odds are stacked against us on social media. And it's not new that pro-Israel content is being suppressed, especially on TikTok. How do we fight back against this? Not just on social media. How do we fight to convince the young generation in America that Israel, for all its flaws, and we have a couple, is a much more faithful.
That's what I don't think is fair, that people associate. There are bad people, unfortunately, in every country, every religion,
Yes,
etc.
yes. And
but
with
people
that said,
take the one person that does something bad here, and they make it like every single Israeli is
but
like.
how do we convince them that Israel, warts and all, is a much more faithful reflection of their own liberal values? It's the most gay-friendly country for thousands of miles around than the homophobic, misogynistic Hamas regime. Like, what do they not see?
That's why I had to come back and be here because, again, unfortunately, we're losing the propaganda digital war. You know, that's just what's happening. The amount of propaganda that comes out about Israel a day is just insane. And again, it literally is trending. Like this video that I did from UCLA. I mean, I do content all the time. I had no idea that this specific video was gonna blow up in the way that it did. But people on TikTok specifically started stitching my video. I don't know. Do you know what stitching is?
Let's explain it. We have some older
Okay.
viewers. Let's pretend I know what stitching is, and you can
it's-
explain it to our older listeners.
So stitching on TikTok is when you play like a little clip of my video and then you react to it, kind of, and then they put their own videos. And like it literally became a trend on TikTok to stitch my video and like call me a white supremacist, Zionist, CUNT, saying, you know, your grandmother should die, your mother should die, and we won't stop. And I get the comments.
Your Holocaust survivor
I get the
grandmother.
comments, but to see people's faces saying this in the video, and TikTok wasn't taking them down.
People have no shame.
No shame, and then those videos become viral.
Let's appreciate for a moment the irony of calling you a white supremacist when your grandparents were persecuted in the Holocaust, not because they weren't considered white enough, because they weren't even considered human.
Well, yeah, they weren't considered human, and they actually were not considered white enough. That's why Hitler wanted to have a blonde hair, blue-eyed race. So it's just like the irony of everything it boggles my mind, and it just keeps me going and makes me want to speak out more and do more. And that's why I truly believe with content, with social media, you never know who is going to come across your video. That's why we can't give up, because you never know whose life you're going to impact. And that's why I do all different types of content, because people relate to things differently. So it's important that we don't give up. And even though we're getting attacked on TikTok, we can't stop posting there. We have to continue to post there.
When you've been here in Israel, you've been obviously meeting with a lot of young people. And personally, I've been astonished by the difference between young Israelis and their peers overseas. Like, young Israelis have really risen to the challenge. We were at the Hostages Square with Eden Golan.
Yeah.
She's only 20.
Yeah.
She stood up to the crowds that were braying and tried to boo her down and sang like an absolute queen. I'm thinking of, one of the hostages, Omer Nutra, who grew up in the States and decided to give up on college in order to volunteer in the IDF. Kids like Anna Shapira, who were murdered during the October 7th massacre. He managed to chuck 7 grenades out of a bomb shelter. Like, these kids are gritty. Okay?
That's Israelis. That's Israelis. Israelis are like no one else. They're just so strong and resilient. And that's exactly what I wanted to show the rest of the world, how resilient Israel is and Israelis are. They don't give up no matter what.
Because it drives me mad to see so many people around the world being a little bit preachy towards Israel, as if we're naughty children and need to be taught better. When actually I think Israeli society and our Gen Z, I call them Gen Zionists,
Gen Zionists,
have a lot to show the world. What do you think Israel's Gen Z have got to show their American peers?
Oh, the resilience. I think that Israel in general, I think, like when people talk about, people were nervous for me to come here, saying, aren't you scared to come to Israel? I genuinely feel safer here than I do in the US right now, like genuinely. And even though this is technically a war zone. Wow. But Israel's always under attack. Like these people, like as a kid, people grow up with hearing rockets. They grow up with going into their shelters. It's like normal life for them.
And it should not be normal.
Exactly. It should not be. But I think that's another thing people don't realize about Israel. Has always been under attack. Israel has people that hate them always. And it's so not fair. And I think all these people that are protesting, I guarantee none of them have ever been here.
Use that word hate. I think it's interesting because many people around the world don't understand the hate and the abuse that Jews who publicly identify and speak out as being Jews are facing right now. Oh, yeah. We have, if you don't mind, let's do a little mean tweets.
Oh, gosh.
I have some of the meanest tweets you have. Maybe the most vulgar ones have been censored out. If you don't mind reading them, tell us, these are some of the messages you've gotten and how you feel when you see them.
Do you support Israel? You will die. It's like, who can sit behind their phones or computer and say, I'm going to write this to her? Like, I don't understand. I can't even imagine ever writing a comment like that to someone.
To someone you've never met. No,
Someone
never
I've
had any interaction with.
even if I really strongly don't like a person, I still couldn't even imagine writing something like that to them.
Let's look at the next one.
Cry, little Jew, cry. You ain't the victim here.
She forgot to write, cry, little Zionist, cry. They said the quiet part out loud.
Too. That's how people, to me, I don't know if this is politically correct, but I truly believe being anti-Zionist is anti-Semitic.
100%.
That's my
But why do
opinion.
you see it that way?
Because again, this is the only Jewish state in the world. And that's why so many Jews around the world are saying they want to come and move to Israel because they don't feel safe anywhere else.
Are you hearing
Israel.
that from friends in the States?
Yes, so many people want to come here. I think also Israel is probably the only place that during a war, people rush to come back here. I don't know. I'm not educated enough to know if this has ever happened before, but I've certainly never heard of it. That during a war, that people from around the world want to be here even more.
I mean, we saw these astonishing scenes on October 7th of Israelis who were traveling around the world who got on planes and the planes just had them like sleeping on the floor of like overloading these planes because they wanted to come back and fight. Let's have a look at the next one. Rick Mendes.
Israel. The hateful rhetorics are you spew, but most of all, F your existence. Again, I can't ever imagine writing that to someone.
Next. This one is quite violent. It's really quite nasty.
It's from a girl also. Well, it's a picture of a girl. Doesn't feel good when you're the one getting hurt. No, get ready. This is just the beginning. Soon y'all will be begging on your knees to stop, and we are going to do is spit on your horrific faces. This is just the beginning of the revenge. The country you stole. Yes, you people like you. Take responsibility of your actions.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty explicit threat.
It's every day that I get these. Every day.
Do you get explicit death threats as well?
Yes.
Threats that are serious enough to take to law enforcement?
I guess it hasn't crossed that line yet.
Let's hope it doesn't. Do we have another mean tweet here?
Go take her and go F yourself, you pitiful Zionist. The whole world hates your guts, and I can finally sleep at night knowing you disgusting kid murderers are actually breaking down mentally. Oh, this one was from somebody that reposted my video from UCLA on their Twitter. They replied to that person's tweet of me saying this.
Pretty vulgar stuff. I mean, do you shake it off, or does this affect you? Is this just like part of the background noise now that you get abuse for being a vocal Jew on social media?
I think in the beginning it was because like I run my social medias, like no one else has access to it. It's just me. And I try to read every message. I try to respond to, I
gave up a long time ago.
Despite a lot of the negative ones, there are so many beautiful, positive ones also. Like, and I think we should talk about that as well. But it definitely, like in the beginning, was really getting to me. I think
when you say in the beginning, when did this start?
The second I started posting about Israel. I've posted about Israel, but the second October 7th happened because for 2 to 3 weeks, I didn't post anything else besides this because I felt weird. I love to dance. I love singing. I love acting, but my typical like dance style before is like me dancing in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard with like Terry Crews or Paula Abdul, and it felt weird to do something like that while this is happening over here. And I had a hard time. I didn't even leave my apartment for a week and a half. Like the first time I left was actually to do the rally with Floyd Mayweather in Los Angeles. But I felt guilty doing anything else besides this. And I lost like 80,000 followers, I think, in the very beginning. I didn't check since then. And honestly, since then, I know for a fact that I've gained quality. I've gained people that I listen. I think I don't want someone to follow me if they don't support what I do. And I know for a fact I speak about humanity, and I'm not against any people. I'm against terrorists, and that's it. And I think the whole world should be.
I'm also against terrorists.
And that's what everyone should be aligned on. We all should be fighting together against terrorism. That's it. That's it. And also continue to talk about the hostages. And that's another thing why I wanted to come here and why singing the Hatikva was so important, because people are forgetting how this started. People are forgetting that they were just innocent people in their homes. Like today I went to Be'eri. People were just in their homes having a normal morning, living in a beautiful community that they had no weapons. They were nothing. And this happened to them. They were at a music festival. A lot of my following is the younger generation. We go to Coachella, we go to EDC, we go to these festivals all the time. and like people need to put themselves in these positions.
Why is that? Why do you think that people in America have forgotten or don't care anymore about the fact there was a massacre at a music festival? It could have been Coachella. It was Nova. People were abducted from their beds. There are hostages. How? You said you can't imagine sitting at a computer and writing that to someone.
Yeah.
Why are people tearing down hostage posters?
That's what I can't comprehend, and that's why I think all these people that are doing it need to come to Israel, come here and see.
I don't want them coming anywhere near me.
No, but I'm saying like because they don't know, like they have no idea, and it's for someone to be able to rip down a photo of a baby that is hostage makes no sense. And I know if this was any other place that this happened, the whole world would be screaming, but because it's Israel, everyone's against us. And it's just, I can't say us because I'm not Israeli, even though I wish I was.
You're an honorary.
I'm an honorary. I think in my past life I
and
was.
If Israel's your favorite place, who knows? Maybe you'll move here one day.
I mean, who knows, honestly.
Seriously. The weather is like Florida.
It is. It's very hot right now. but it boggles my mind. And so that's why, again, with any way that I can with content specifically, because that's where people watch the news, of course, but everyone's on their phones 24/7. And especially the younger generation, which is, I am speaking at colleges. I spoke at Cornell, actually with the son of Hamas. I spoke there, and I'm trying to go to as many schools as I can. Obviously, UCLA was a disaster. But it's so important to get to the younger generation because they're our future leaders. They're the future. And that's really where we need to.
And it's so critical. It's so critical to invest those investments in the young generation, because if the people protesting for Hamas on campus become, journalists in 2 years, law firm partners in 10 years, and members of Congress in 15 years, then America's doomed, and the US-Israel alliance together with it.
And I think also, again, I'm not a political person at all whatsoever, but in the US right now, obviously, there's it's crazy with politics right now, like Democrat, Republican, Biden, Trump, it's wild, right? But if somebody hates Trump or if somebody hates Biden, you're not going to hate America and hate all Americans. And I think that's what people are doing now with Israel also, because they're not happy with somebody that is in power right now.
I don't know. It looks to me like a lot of people on American campuses hate America as well.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the outside world, I feel like. And so I think that's what needs to come back to Israel is just because people aren't necessarily happy with someone in politics, that they shouldn't make it the whole country's fault or every single Israeli's fault.
Well, look, this conversation's taken a slightly grim turn. Sorry. So I want to lighten the mood a little bit. No, not sorry. We're talking about very serious things, but I want to lighten the mood and play a little game. I'm calling it Dancing with the Scimitars, which is a joke that will be appreciated by any fans of the Aladdin Broadway show. You are famous as a dancer. You've never been a judge on Dancing with the Stars, have you?
I haven't, but it's funny because I've danced with every single pro dancer on there, and I've had some friends on it, but not yet. Maybe one day.
Let's pretend we're judges on Dancing with the Stars, Dancing with the Scimitars now. We've seen some pretty bizarre...
There's a nice ring to it.
Exactly. We've seen some pretty bizarre dances taking place on American campuses. Within these Tentifadas, pro-Palestinian activists. So I want to show you a few clips, and while we're watching them, I want you to comment pretending you're a Dancing with the Stars. Judge about, give a rating on their dance moves. Okay. This first video comes from pro-Palestinian activists at Columbia University protesting against Israel. It is a musicless dance.
Okay. So this is called step dancing or stomping. So they must be in a sorority or something. And
what is the message that this dancing is portraying, apart from, supporting a genocidal death cult?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand. I don't see it. I don't,
Well, maybe the next clip will...
I just don't understand. It's just a dance performance or what they're trying to do here?
Here at the Paulson Center at NYU campus.
Okay.
What do we see here?
I have a question also, about cultural appropriation, right? Are the people that are wearing all this stuff, are they actually Palestinian?
I had the same thought when I saw women in tank tops prostrating themselves to Allah on the lawns of California University
churches. I'm so confused because I feel wouldn't people find offense to that?
Yeah, okay, an interesting question about cultural appropriation. Some of them definitely look white, although it's a little bit difficult to see because they're covering their faces with COVID masks as if COVID is still a thing.
That's what I'm trying. I'm just trying to understand what. I feel when I go to a pro-Israel rally, it's very clear what the message is. Or at the hostage forum, it was very clear what the message was. What's the message that they're trying to...
Let's have a look at Columbia Hamas fans dancing what we can only describe as a bizarre horror. Definitely feels like cultural appropriation to me. That's our
Bizarre
dance,
horror.
isn't it? You're right.
Interesting. Okay.
How do we rate their dance?
I mean,
It doesn't
I'm
look
just
like
trying
they've all
to
got the
understand. Like,
steps
I'm
in.
trying to like see the other side and understand what we're trying to do here, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
It's not a 10 out of 10, is it?
I have to. It's not a 10 out of 10, but at least they're not screaming chants that they don't know what they're talking about. So that's at least a little
Let's
better.
have a look at the next clip. This is my favorite one. We have people dancing at concentric circles.
Whoa.
It looks like they're trying to open a portal into another world. Maybe they're going to get sucked into Gaza
Whoa.
inside, and I wouldn't recommend
I feel
that.
like why they should all go there.
Well, I would not recommend that for any of the LGBTQAI+.
But I'm saying if they're
people
fighting
there.
so hard for it and they truly believe that, they're LGBTQ for Palestine, they should go.
You know, it's crazy how drag queens have become a Hamas icon lately, right?
It makes no sense to me.
And they don't get it. They don't get it.
They
which is
wouldn't
really
be
stunning.
allowed there for 2 seconds. Wow.
Montana, finally, so we're not
What is that blue
particularly
flag?
the bow. I don't know. They have all sorts of flags. Who knows? But the tents all look the same. You're flying back to the United States
Tonight.
Tonight. Oh no, you're going to have to come back. But until you come back, you're still fighting the good fight from the United States.
yeah.
So tell me what else you're planning.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, again, I felt this way when I left last time. It's like, people are like, you need to move here. There's so much to do here, but there's so much to do over there.
What are you
and I
doing?
think that me taking my experiences in Israel and being able to share, I'm speaking as much as I can to all different people. It's really important for me to go to the schools. So that's like my next plan of attack, is to really go to all the schools and speak with them and speak out. I can't wait to get all the content back that I shot here. And I really think it's going to make a big impact. I really believe in the work that we did this trip. And I do believe that it will impact people. And this has just fueled me even more to keep going and do more.
And you're planning something with Deborah Messing as well, right?
I love Deborah.
Another queer. I love Deborah. No, I love Deborah.
Best. No, I love
No,
Deborah.
I love Deborah.
Oh, I can't wait for her to see this.
She's going to
she is the best. Again, like people say,
We have a clip here actually from what you've been planning with Deborah. Tell me a little bit about this initiative.
I have seen an incredible unification of Jews across the diaspora.
Join us on the Yom app for exclusive content on Voices for Action.
I first met Deborah Messing when she came to Israel after October 7th. We were at the Nova exhibition that reconstructed the massacre. Standing there together with former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett speaking to a Nova survivor. It was a very surreal experience. And Bennett asked her, he pointed at her necklaces, and for the people who are following us on audio platforms, they can't see. You've got a Land of Israel necklace.
Yeah, we have
a
the same.
Star of
We actually
David.
have a lot of the same ones.
Land of Israel necklace, Star of David, the hostage ribbon, and you've just taken off here because it was clanging against the microphone, the Nova necklace as well that says "We will dance again." And she also had, 3 or 4 of these bangles on her. And Bennett asked her, "Have you always been walking around with the Magen David?" She said, "No, it's just since October 7th when I got this slap in the face and felt so betrayed by the world around me."
Yeah.
And you've got the whole paraphernalia on as well.
Exactly. People are always like, "Are you sure you want to be walking around like that? Like, don't you want to take it off?"
Hell yeah.
And I think that, again, I refer to my grandparents all the time because I truly believe that the work that I do is because of them. Like, they were my entire life. My grandma's still alive at 95, Holocaust survivor from Auschwitz.
May she have a
Saw
long
her
life.
entire family get beaten up and dragged to the gas chambers and survived. My Zadie was the strongest man ever. He passed away 4 years ago at 97. And they were and are my whole world. And so everything I do, I didn't just start saying I was Jewish or start speaking out for Israel on October 7th. I made a Holocaust educational series 2 years prior, and I went to Auschwitz and went to Poland and filmed the series. But Jews back then, to wear a Magen David, like it was like you were forced to wear this. You were forced to let everyone know you were Jew, and by being a Jew, you were worthless, and you were like disgusting, scum of the earth if you were a Jew. And to wear it now with pride, it's so important. And I never take it off unless like I literally have to. Like I literally never take it off. And I have it here and on my wrist. I need to get one on my wrist because I have it everywhere else. But truly, I've wanted to be even louder and let everyone know I'm
Such a powerful message, because there are so many Jews around the world who are feeling scared and intimidated, but you can't keep your head down. You have to answer intimidation with pride.
Amazing people, and we need to let the world know. And again, we do have a voice now, and we have to use it.
Montana Tucker, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
State of the Nation.
You're the best.
No, you're the
Thank
best. And thank you for watching this episode of State of the Nation with Montana Tucker. As always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And we'll be back soon with more interesting, in-depth conversations behind the scenes. I'm Elon Levy, and thanks for watching.